What's good, superstars? Back with another VV video. You got Superstar Joe. You got Superstar Rob in the building. How's it going, Rob?
Pretty good, you?
Oh, man, we've been waiting years for this announcement. Guys, if you're new here, do not forget, become a superstar. Smash the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification. You know, whenever we post about announcements, years in the making. You can also become a superstar VIP, $2.99 a month. Hit the join button down below. Get some stars next to your name. Level up through the stars. Flex on them in the chats. Enter the giveaways at the end of every single month. Sometimes you have to wait for the giveaways. Sometimes we're a little backlog because we're coming up with creative ideas for new giveaways for 2025. But it's not years that you're waiting. So definitely make sure that you become a superstar VIP. You can also follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, join the Discord. Discord is a great place to let people know what you like, what you don't like about the projects, and also to intermingle between the projects and see what a common ground is with all of the people into the digital collecting space. Rob, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I mean, finally, I remember DCon 2022. We stood there. We watched a sneak peek at the Veveverse, and we were told, you know, there's a roadmap, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, which a lot has happened since then. And I'm glad that finally VV has actually put a hard date, February the 28th, where they're going to be providing us with a minimum viable product, right? Minimum viable, an MVP, which I guess is just to get it out. So, and I think it's going to look a lot like McFarlane. So I don't know if anybody has done any work with or has been on the McFarlane platform, but they have a web app where all the collectibles that you own, you can put into kind of your own home room. So I have a little bit of experience with this. I have a feeling, based on what I can tell, this looks a lot like McFarlane in the sense that you're in a home space, you can walk around, but I think it's a little bit more advanced where you have an avatar. That's one thing that McFarlane doesn't have. So what do they put here, Joe? Let's read this.
Well, it says what to expect. You already mentioned about the minimum viable product, but what to expect. Display your VV collectibles in style. Chat and connect with fellow collectors through voice and text. I'm hoping that's similar to what we've seen with all of these previews where you had like Dan and Ben in the same space or whatever when they did that early on preview. Explore a vibrant digital world filled with endless creative possibilities. I don't know what that one means. But anyway, we're going to go through, I think they posted a video announcing it. I have not seen the video. It's 12 minutes. Yeah. And I think maybe the best thing we do is we watch that video, see what we get from it, and then we can make some commentary on it as the video plays and maybe afterwards, rather than just like judging it at face value by people's tweets and all this stuff. I've seen some positive, I've seen some negative on Twitter, but I want to hear from the owners or CEOs' faces and see what they have to say before I make any comment on what I think, just because maybe it's more than what we expect. Maybe this minimum viable product is more than what we would have thought. I mean, video looks pretty cool, but I want to hear about it in the video that they posted, which is this.
Yeah, let's watch it because what that looked pretty, like, again, familiar for me at least, but let's take a look at this.
Okay, all right, here we go. Let me know if you can hear it.
The digital collectible video. I'm Corey, and I am joined today by Ben Rose and Dan Carruthers. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Really well. Awesome.
We have a really, really exciting announcement to go through. It is a word that's been heavy on the lips and tongues of many a VV community member, and it is all about the Veveverse. Over the last couple months, you have been seeing all kinds of VV showcase videos from our beta testers who have been producing some really spectacular things. And what we're doing today is we're dialing in some key dates. All right, so to kick this conversation off, Dan, I'm going to go to you first. Ever since I've known you, which goes all the way back to DesignerCon in 2022, whenever we did the very first showcase Veveverse demo, the Veveverse has been a very, very important goal of yours. Can you sort of talk me through over this time period, how's your expectations and goals and hopes for the Veveverse changed over time?
My expectations and dreams and goals for the Veveverse are very, very big. It's not going to be there on day one, but you know, the Veveverse has always been a part of our original mission. You know, when David and I started all those many years ago, and one of the main reasons is that, you know, when we created VV, we really wanted to try to mimic what was in the physical world of collecting and bring that into the digital. Now, anyone who's a collector, as you can see behind me, as you can see behind Corey, behind Ben, people love to set up their collectibles. And, that was the reason that we've brought out the initial virtual showroom. And really, the Veveverse is the next iteration of that. I mean, I use the word iteration lightly because it really has so many more features, and you can just do so much stuff. So we're really delighted to be able to bring it to life. And we are also super excited to see, what our collectors do with them. I want to see what amazing spaces they come up with, whether that's something from scratch, or whether they use one of the templates overall.
So it sounds like it's starting off as a glorified showroom, which I think we expected from the initial description of it. Obviously, we know that the timelines and all that on that DesignerCon PowerPoint presentation aren't going to be there, aren't going to be met. Maybe even some of the guts of that presentation aren't ever going to see the light of day, if we're going to use that catchphrase. But I think that what we're getting here is not really anything that I didn't expect. So I think that sounds like they're delivering what they said they would initially when they dropped this.
Well, I got, again, some experience with McFarlane, so I think usually from what I've seen, it's going to have a whole bunch of built-in objects, and that's where you see the shelf, right? So you have the shelves that you can do, the table, the couch, things like that, I think are probably going to be, built in, available for everybody. So you can kind of set up your showroom. You can set up your shelves any way that you want, and then your collectibles directly from Veve. Now that's where they're going to gate it with the Veve app. Not really sure how they're going to do it because they have the web platform. So you probably just log into your web on the web app, right, for Veve, and then that probably links to the Veveverse so that they know exactly what collectibles you can access. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they're going to talk about it later. Now, I don't have much more to add on that point, but what I haven't seen on the McFarlane one, which I'm very curious about, is this whole social aspect of it, visiting other people's showrooms and communicating. So maybe we should listen a little bit more, see what they got for us there.
Yep.
Corey, we're here to be the place where the world collects, and
absolutely.
Up until now, you've had your own place to collect, and you can show your friends. You've got together on on Discord and X Spaces and YouTube Lives to hang out with the people, the community that you've built about the stuff that you love. This is really taking that to the next level, right? This is the place where the world, irrespective of where those collectors are based, they can get together, they can hang out, and they can just play and engage with the fandoms that we all love.
Absolutely. And I know from your perspective, Vin, because you're always looking outward, you're kind of, how do we grow? How do we expand? What are people in the collecting world doing, or even in communication? VR is a big element of the Veveverse. And I know you have some innovative ideas and maybe the value of the growth of VR. We want to talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. So there are some key technologies that underpin Veve's mission and the way that we've set out to really become that place where the world collects. And so there's blockchain, and there's AR, there's VR. VR, if you think about it, it's something that is growing massively around the world. It's not yet mass adoption, but it's certainly getting there. You've got major companies around the world bringing out wearable devices to make it easy for people to access. Our collectibles, these digital assets, we knew when we created them that the utility of them and the ways that people would engage with them would grow over time. And so now with VR, it's about connecting with others, and the experience of getting together with other people in virtual reality is it's really different. And it's that crossover between the physical and the digital worlds. And this isn't just a collectible thing. VR is growing massively. Look at the billions of dollars that big companies are investing in it. So, for us to be at the forefront of that and add another way to use, another way to enjoy your digital collectibles, that I think that's really exciting. And I think that's going to, open up a lot of possibilities for our community and for the business.
I agree with you. Absolutely. I'm excited from a content perspective of all the new content opportunities that it's going to bring for not just myself, but all the amazing people that we have in the community. So we've kind of
VR. What are your thoughts on VR? I know for myself, I don't really have too much interest in VR. I don't think that maybe it's the age thing. Maybe I'm a little older than that mass adoption group of VR people. But I feel like that is something that on this channel, at least, we've kind of said was not what we were looking forward to. More so, we're looking forward to that AR aspect where it's more of an overlay of the real world. I do like the idea of having like a social space, like a Twitter Spaces that you can go to and hang out. Yeah. But doing it in virtual reality, to me, I just don't have that appeal. And I don't really ever see VR becoming mainstream, like people living in a digital world rather than living in the real world. I think there's just too much that has to happen to make that happen. Maybe it won't even be in my lifetime. I feel like at this point.
Well, I would, first of all, I'm not surprised. I don't think I can speak for both of us and say we're not really surprised that they're taking the VR approach. We kind of already knew that with the Veveverse, because cavernous is that VR space. The AR, we do think, is going to be the ultimate future, right? I mean, we have all kinds of videos on our channel talking about how one day you're going to walk into somebody's house and you're going to see a whole new world when they put on the glasses, where you're going to see paintings on the walls that only exist digitally. People are going to be decorating their actual space. I think this is going to be that very long step before you can get to that point, right? The georeferencing and all that. And we know it's like technology's like there, but like for people to actually immerse themselves in it and go to someone's house and actually just have the goggles ready to go, we're probably a very, very far away. I remember we did videos about 2025, 2026, thinking Apple was going to have the Vision Pro. The Vision Pro is here, but again, it has the battery issue, right? So you don't have the true glasses. You have the big bulky one. Either way, though, I think that the Veveverse, at least if people can start, I mean, we know there's active users right now on the Veve app. There's really not much you can do. At least this is an added utility now. And Ben Rose did use the word utility, I think, on purpose, because he knows there needs to be utility for these collectibles. And the added utility is that you can actually create a showroom and have someone come and visit your showroom. And while you're there, I'm assuming you can talk to them too. But again, they haven't got to that part yet.
I mean, we've seen in the last 20 years, The Sims has been a popular game, right? So this is something similar to that, but maybe even taking it a step further, having social aspect of being able to show off your personality with your avatar and with what you decide to collect and how you set up your space. So if they can nail that, and if they can make it something that's really exciting and a lot of people have fun doing, people like to talk about what they're doing, and people like to talk about things that they're doing that are fun. So if Veveverse brings that out of the collectors here, maybe it is positive news for the app. Let's keep going here.
We've went back into history, and now we're talking about the future, but let's go more to recent history. Ben, you've been here now for about 5 months. And one of the things, whenever you came through the door as the co-CEO, that you kind of hung your hat on was the Veveverse. And now it's right here at the edge of our noses. Tell me a little bit about how your perspective of not just what the Veveverse is, but what Veve is and what our community is has changed in these past whirlwind 5 months for you.
Before I came in, I was, really lucky to have some really, long, deep and extended discussions with the team, with David, with Dan. So I really, I understood exactly what Veve's strengths and opportunities were. And one of Veve's key strengths has always been the vision, the ambition, the creativity. And those are the things that led to, Dan in particular spearheading that, saying, what we need to do? We need to build a collector's metaverse. All I have done since I've joined is I've just helped with a bit of structure and a bit of focus and a bit of whip cracking, and so I get the easy job. It's Dan who's had to do the heavy lifting and build the thing.
I think we got to give him a little bit more credit here than he's given himself. But in 5 months, the amount of things that we have seen change or maybe be delivered has been ridiculous. I mean, he said that this is going to be seen in Q1 for the Veveverse, and so far so good. It looks like we're getting it February 28th, which is earlier than March 31st. So again, right in the middle there of Q1 as expected, and it seems as though Ben is trying to rebuild the reputation of Veve, which I think is very, very important. I think he needs to take a little bit more credit here for the changes that he's brought to the company.
Well, I think we learned that really they didn't really work on the Veveverse. I think they did a video saying we didn't really work on it over the last couple of years. And then I think when Ben got on board, probably a lot of people were going to him saying, these things were said, where's the Veveverse? And I guess they reprioritized and they focused on it. So even if it's a minimum viable product, at least it's there to get people's feet wet. Now, there's a discussion about the payment. We'll get to that later. Let's just keep reading.
Yeah. Well, we've seen previews. Like, these are things that before Ben was there, were not even allowed. Right. We couldn't see anything into the Veveverse. He came. It set the expectation. People kind of have an idea of what they're going to see when it comes out. So then you have less of a, I guess, volatile reaction. And I think that that's a good thing that they've done.
Yep.
I'm really, really proud that we are launching it. And, when I came in, I said, it's all about execution, it's all about delivery, and that's exactly, what we're doing and what we're announcing today. And it's one of those things that, some things do take time. If you want to do things properly, you want to do them well. You can't just launch them overnight. And so since I joined 5 months ago up to now, we've been doing a lot of work, and really proud of all the work the team has put in across every single department of the business to deliver what's going to be Veveverse 1.0.
With all that said, I think it's time to announce some of the key dates and milestones that we have coming up. In the very near future, the end of this week on the 21st, the Veveverse launch page is going to be going live, and that's going to be a lot of information. But Dan, when's the actual Veveverse going live? When's that going to happen?
Yes, the question is finally getting answered. So yeah, as you mentioned, we're going to be rolling out the website, which is going to have some information on the 21st, and then 1 week later, on the 28th of this month, February 2025, the Veveverse is going to be launched to the community. So super excited to get it in the hands of everybody.
I am excited to see it in everyone's hands and see what they do with it. And let's establish some sort of day one expectations. The 28th rolls out, doors are open, people are logging in. What can they expect, Dan?
Users are going to be able to log into the Veveverse, obviously once they've downloaded and installed it. From within there, they can basically create a whole range of spaces, and these spaces can range. These spaces have a bunch of different templates, so you
looks a lot like McFarlane. You're right.
Yep.
can start off with something pre-built, like a convention hall or a modern villa or our VV home, or if you're feeling brave, you can dive in and basically start from scratch and build your own one. The main goal, very similar to what we've done with the virtual showrooms, is really about showcasing your collectibles. And the cool thing is that there's no limit. Like, in my house, as you can see, I'm already packed to the rafters. There's nowhere else. I can't just add another room. So this is a really exciting part of the Veveverse. You can set up another space for your cars or a space just for your Marvel. Not only can you add your collectibles and comics, you also have a whole range of decorative items, from furniture to simple shapes if you want to build something up. We've got plants and trees. You can add your own lights. So really a lot of kind of tools in there to help you really enhance and make your collectible showroom very, very rich. In addition to that is obviously all of the social tools. So this is another really cool key feature in the Veveverse. I can invite you, Corey, and you, Ben, into my space. I can invite you as a visitor, so you can just have a look around, or I could invite you in as a creator. So, you can help me put my, you can do room 1, I'll do room 2. However, we sort of decide to put that out. There is text chat, there is audio. So it's a really, socially immersive experience overall.
So Dan,
That's cool.
Desktop is what we've been seeing primarily from a lot of our beta testers, some amazing spaces. Is it going to be desktop, mobile? What's day one expectations?
So day one, we'll be rolling out with the desktop version. This is the version of the Veveverse that really gives you the most amount of teeth. You can really dive in and do a whole range of amazing things. While that is out and you guys are using it, enjoying it, giving us some feedback, we are hard at work polishing up the mobile version of the app. And with the mobile version of the app, we're taking a slightly different approach. It's still the Veveverse overall, but really it's about giving people something very accessible and very easy to use to be able to go in, add a piece of furniture, some shelves, put your collectibles on, invite people in. You've still got all of that kind of base feature set, but we want to make sure that it's, really easy and you can access it directly from within the app. So that is development's going.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so I like that, they showed you on the screen that when you're collaborating, you actually have the video on the side, kind of like a Zoom, right? The Zoom meeting, right? You can actually see each other, talk to each other. I think that the mobile app is something I didn't expect. I thought that this was going to be a desktop only platform, but the fact that there is a mobile app, it kind of could be used in a kind of Twitter Spaces environment, where if you go on that app, you can join. Maybe you can see open rooms, people open invites to join and have a discussion, and maybe you can go directly to that room and have that chat. You see that already on Discord, right? You have the Discord chats where people just jump in and they talk about whatever they want, various different chat rooms. So I think I like that social feature. I think the community here on Veve will be willing to use that feature and kind of migrate maybe from Twitter to start using that feature just to try to promote the Veveverse. Whether it sticks or not, I don't know. But I think a mobile app is going to be like absolutely necessary to encourage people, because they're not going to always be by their computer, but they'll probably have their phone.
I mean, we've seen tons of other platforms come and go because they didn't have a polished mobile app yet. We've seen platforms that are still building mobile apps, but haven't brought them out yet. I mean, that has been Veve's one strongest aspect, I think, was the fact that they've always had this mobile app that you can bring with you anywhere that you go. Right now, the Veveverse is going to be desktop, so it's going to be limited. People are not always at their desktop to be able to create, share, join spaces, do all that stuff. So I think it is very, very important, and it should be very high on their list to get that mobile version out. And then if people do migrate from X onto the Veveverse, I think we have to remember that that's not really going to be your marketing. Like, you have to remember, if you guys are joining this and you really want to push it out, share your stuff on all the other socials as well, because if you're just hanging out in Veveverse and nobody knows about it, starts to become kind of cultish. So like, we definitely still want to make sure that if you are spreading the word of any projects, or of Veve in this case, that you are maintaining social presence with the project and sharing your spaces and all that stuff on these other platforms, because just staying in the Veveverse and hanging out there and talking over there with the people who are already here doesn't really help grow the space, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, no, let's keep playing here, Joe. But I would just to say that for sure, I think the community is going to have to play a big role here in taking videos, going on other social platforms, and sharing their experience.
Well on that, and we are planning to release that to you guys by the end of Q1 this year.
Ooh.
And most of the things that Dan just mentioned, I know it's a lot to take in because there's a lot of features. We're going to hold your hand through the whole process. Like I said, the Veveverse launch page is going to have tutorials, FAQs. I'm sure our beta testers, because they're no longer going to be under a non-disclosure agreement, are going to be making a ton of content and be very happy for you to come check out their spaces. So don't stress if you're feeling a little overwhelmed. We will get you up to speed. Ben, this really is just another exciting innovation. Like, digital collecting just in general is very innovative. This is another layer to it. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you feel about that in terms of the company and where we could go from here?
The opportunities and the potential is absolutely endless. And I don't know, and none of us knows where we'll go to from here, because what we want to do is we want to launch this and we want to see how the community use it, how they engage with it. And it's the approach we're taking to innovation. We're responding to, user behavior. So we'll launch this, and there's a whole lot of features that Dan's just talked through and ways that you could interact with it. But what we know is that our community are amazing, and they'll find whole new ways to engage with it, and they'll be asking for other things. And so if you think about the iPhone, I think we're up to iPhone 16 right now. So we're launching Veveverse 1.0. I have no idea what Veveverse 16.0 is going to look like, but I'm pretty excited about finding out.
I am also very excited about that. And feedback, Ben, as you mentioned, that is the lifeblood of what we do at Veve. All of you watching this video that are collectors on our platform, we've tried to provide as many ways possible for feedback. And this entire thing is feedback driven. So please be sure, day one, doors open, good, bad, and different, joyous, let us know. Use all of those different avenues available to you. With that said, I think we've covered everything we need to cover.
So there you go.
That's pretty cool about the mobile app coming quick turnaround. But can you bring up that post? I think there's a key thing here they did not mention regarding the payment.
Oh yeah, that shows up in here. So I just was browsing, and they have the veve.me/Veveverse website. Basically, you go through it. Basically, everything they've shown in this thing, and maybe some of the stuff they've shown in some of their previews. General stuff that you would know: decorating your stuff, socializing with friends, customizing your avatar. Tells you the date available, the 28th, and then it's talking about mobile coming soon. A bunch of stuff about the actual Veveverse, and then frequently asked questions. One of the questions I thought was cool was, will a mobile version be available here? They don't really say end of Q1, but they say it's coming soon. So to hear that from that video, I think is great. I mean, that's just a month later, so that's something I think that will do them great positivity. But then here's the question that you wanted to talk about. Maybe you read it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. They didn't reveal yet exactly what the premium plan is, but it says here that the Veveverse is free to use if you have a Veve account. However, to unlock the full Veveverse experience, you need the premium plan. Now, they haven't said yet what exactly is that premium plan. I have no idea what the differences are between the premium plan and the free plan. So it's kind of hard for me to like properly assess that. But when I first heard this, my first thought was, well, wouldn't it be a good idea to just not have a premium plan to start? It's so new. The community is so small. Yeah. Just open the door, give everybody the full access, let them learn it, and then pull back. And then once everybody has a chance to actually experience it, pull back and be like, okay, well, the premium plan is no longer available. Maybe have a free trial if you don't want to do it that way. Maybe give people a 7-day free trial on the premium plan to see if it's for them. I don't know what they're going to do. That's why it's hard for me to speak to it. But when I first heard about that, I'm like, And now it also opens up a utility potential, because if somebody, for example, is an MCP 100, a master collector, one of the benefits you might want to give them is just free Veveverse access, right, on the premium plan. So there's some opportunity here, right, where they could maybe use to their advantage this Veveverse and this premium plan to give benefits and utility to those who have been maybe MCP level 100. I don't know what they want to do, but I'm sure they can come up with ways to reward people with this. Even giveaways. Yeah.
Maybe
1 month free.
The free trial should be the amount of time that people waited for the Veveverse.
Yeah.
New people, you get no free trial. I mean, people who waited 2 years, you get 2 years. No, I think they should have something like that, a free trial. You see it all the time with other apps. You get people into the app, excited to use it, get them in a habit of doing things, and then at least they know up front they had a free trial and that they're going to have to pay for it if they want to continue using certain features. Yeah. I'm still struggling to think of what these features might be. Maybe it's how many people you can have in your space. Maybe it's the different types of finishes on your shelving, different packages of textures or whatever. I don't know what else it could be, because you own your collectibles. I think it's got to be something like that, like a StreamYard, how it limits how many people can do whatever for those different plans. But yeah, I mean, I think maybe like a 3-month trial or something might be even better. Get people really into it, especially at the beginning. You want like the people who are all still here to like enjoy spending time doing things and creating some kind of community, some kind of social hub. I mean, if people only have the option to do certain things, especially when it comes to the social aspects of that, I feel like should be like open forever. Because that's the number one thing that's going to grow it, right? But when it comes to other things like maybe textures and different packs, I mean, you see it in Minecraft, you see it in all these other games that do certain things like that. Fortnite, you buy things to overlay the base game to make it more fun. I don't see a problem with that. I think that's something that was always expected from the beginning, that there would be upgrades and different ways to make things. And you just spend, it's like pay to play. I mean, that's what we see all the time now. So I don't have an issue with it. I just think at the beginning, especially if you're trying to grow awareness, I think you got to kind of limit that. At least for the social stuff, I think actually should be forever.
Well, another thing too is like they said gamification eventually. Now there was no mention of gamification as of now. I don't even know. They didn't confirm 100% that gamification would be forever there. Like they didn't say that, okay, at some point in the future, we still want gamification. Ben Rose did mention about playing. He specifically used the word play. So maybe gamification will come in some form. But like based on what I'm seeing right now, like the video that I'm watching, again, it reminds me a lot of McFarlane. Even how you saw like the different planes, the flat plane, side planes, the rotating orb, that was like straight up like typical metaverse kind of style stuff where you can move things around. So like I'm pretty familiar with that already. So I think that some people, there's a bit of a learning curve there to start. We know there's guys like our security mod, Rich, in our Discord. He is a master. So who knows the kind of stuff that he come up with. He's been doing it on McFarlane. I don't know what he's going to come up with here on the Veveverse. I'm sure he's going to be very creative and do some crazy creative things. But yeah, like I just think that, for what the Veveverse is going to be on day one, from what I can see right now, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference ultimately on the demand of the collectibles, to be completely honest. So like if you're someone who's like, oh, the Veveverse is going to pump my bags and all these things, like I don't think, from what I can tell, it's going to make a dent at all on the demand of any of these collectibles. I think there still needs to be more so that when there's user growth, that's when you'll see that demand. and I think gamification is going to be the next point, the next extension to this. Obviously, we've been waiting a long time. I'm happy to finally see this. Let it get rolled out. Let people start using it, and I'm sure the feedback will naturally come at some point. Like, my showroom's done. What do I do now?
Yeah.
Right. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I think that people are gonna at first have a great time setting up their showroom, but I think that this is like the massive pivot from I'm buying this to make money to I'm buying this to do what I can in the Veveverse. I think that's what they've wanted to kind of switch to, and I think that like that time has come and gone. I mean, maybe if you really want something for your Veveverse room, but like you said, I don't think that this is gonna pump bags in any way at this point.
Yep. So guys, let us know in the comments below what do you guys think about this announcement. Veveverse February 28th. Let us know. If you haven't already, before you go, don't forget, become a superstar. Smash the subscribe button. Join the superstar family. Hit the bell notification button so you get our videos a couple times a week. Also, thank you to our VIPs. I think we've done January. We still need to do.
We need to do January.
Sorry, we still need to do January. Yes, we got to do the January giveaways. But we've been doing monthly giveaways now for like I think like a year and a half. I think the first time we did it was like July of like 2020. Yeah, so it's been a long time now. So if you join it, thank you to our VIPs for supporting our channel. And guys, take care. We'll see you next one. Bye bye.
Love you. Bye.